All right, welcome back to the channel. Shakur Stevenson comes to the defense of Gervonta Davis with some common sense as Ring Magazine acts a fool as it relates to Gervonta Davis. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, and we're going to talk about my two favorite fighters in the 135-pound division. One is Shakur Stevenson out of Newark, New Jersey. A guy, in my personal opinion, is in my top 5 pound for pound. I'm not buying all this stuff that people put on Shakur about him not being a really good fighter, not being fun to watch. All of that stuff, I don't buy it. I like Shakur Stevenson a lot as a fighter. Big supporter of Shakur Stevenson as a fighter. Also, of course, the phenomenal superstar, Gervonta Davis, who's also big time fan of him. I can't wait for these guys to fight each other. Shakur Stevenson had come by my channel and he had met with and talked with Kenny Ellis, maybe sometime last year. And that particular interview really sparked a lot of conversation about the two fighting. Unfortunately, Shakur went another way over to Matchroom to go get his money, and Gervonta is doing his thing. However, the conversation about the two guys fighting still continues, and Shakur backed up Gervonta Davis, who once again was slighted by the boxing media. Now, before I get into that, hope I didn't already say this because I'm not going to re-edit it. Thank you for coming by the channel. If you're a supporter, thank you so much. And if you are a subscriber or you're new to the channel, or if you're not a subscriber and you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We've got real, honest, true boxing talk going on over here. So Gervonta Davis was removed from Ring Magazine's top 10 pound for pound. He was removed from the list, and he was replaced on Rings Magazine's list by David Benavidez. Do you notice anything about the two? They're both PBC fighters, and I do believe they were the only PBC fighters that are listed in the top 10 on Ring Magazine. And what they did was they just swapped one PBC fighter out for another PBC fighter. The idea that Gervonta Davis is not one of the top 10 pound for pound fighters in the world is so fucking ridiculous that anybody that says it should be slapped upside the head. It's ridiculous. Just because you have one difficult fight against a guy like Lamont Roach and you get a draw does not mean that you are not a top pound for pound fighter. Because guess what? Vasily Lomachenko lost to Devin Haney, lost to Teofimo Lopez, and never left the top 10 pound for pound. And guess what? Had tough fights with both of them. Even tough fights with both of them, and he lost against both of them. But yet Ring Magazine never removed him from the top 10 pound for pound. Not one time. Only after he had lost and looked like he ain't fought a long time did they ever take him out. And you better believe the minute Vasily Lomachenko gets back in the ring, and if he defends his IBF title against anybody, Lomachenko is going to be back in Ring Magazine's top 10 pound for pound. What Shakur Stevenson did was he gave it a big thumb down. Thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down on replacing Gervonta Davis with David Benavidez. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not saying that David Benavidez does not deserve to be in that list, because to me, David Benavidez does deserve to be in that list. But didn't Dmitry Bivol lose to Arthur Beterbiev? Didn't he? A 40-year-old man, he's in there. Isn't Canelo in there? Canelo's lost like 4 or 5 times. There are no PBC pound. There are never going to be more than 2 PBC pound per pound fighters on a list given out by Ring or given out by ESPN, because those are the two most biased lists that you can find. And the bias is that Turki Al-Sheikh owns Ring Magazine. So you should not be surprised that Turki Al-Sheikh's people took Gervonta off that list. Before Turki Al-Sheikh owned the Ring, Oscar De La Hoya owned the Ring, and you shouldn't be surprised that Oscar De La Hoya kept people off that list. ESPN obviously is a top-ranked channel, and their top pound for pound was filled with top-ranked fighters. All of these lists, all that just for marketing. But the idea that Gervonta Davis is not a top 10 pound for pound fighter, but Devin Haney is. Turki Al-Sheikh owns Ring Magazine and has Devin Haney above Gervonta Davis pound for pound. Devin Haney has not fought in a year. I don't think he got his ass whooped in the last fight that he had. The ass whooped in the last fight that he had. Many people thought he lost to Vasily Lomachenko. He got booed out of the place, literally booed out of the stadium when they gave the decision to Devin Haney over Vasily Lomachenko. But yet he stays on Turki Al-Sheikh's list, right? One of these days, y'all gonna stop, just wake up. And not y'all, because many people listening to me got common sense and understand that that's marketing, that is public relations, and that stuff is not real. However, I'm telling you that the two top fighters in 135 pounds, Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson, are both top 5 pound for pound fighters. You are not telling me, and definitely top 10, you cannot tell me that you got 9 other fighters or 10 other fighters that are better pound for pound than Gervonta Davis is. It's absolutely ludicrous. But he got a draw and he should have lost that fight. He really should have lost the fight because he took his knee. So we're going to take him off because we think he should have lost the fight. Dog, Canelo Alvarez did lose fights. All you did is exaggerate the abilities of the people that beat him. He lost fights against Lara. He lost fights against Trout. You guys just act like it never happened. He got mopped by Floyd Mayweather Jr., who was 40 years old and coming from 130 pounds. But hey, man, it's Canelo. It's all a learning process for Canelo. If it's Canelo, it's a learning process. If Devin gets whooped, he cheated. We're not going to count that at all. Yeah, he cheated. That's why Devin couldn't get out the way of consistent left hooks. Anyway, the whole situation bugs me, but at least real fighters know. And I'm not somebody that dumps on Shakur Stevenson. So please do not wrap me up with the Tank fans that act like that act like Shakur Stevenson is garbage and doesn't belong in the top 10 either. The real issue is this. There's a lot of Americans that should be in there. There's a lot of Americans that are better, that could be better than some people in there, but they never get the shots. They never get the shots at the title. Matter of fact, look at David Benavidez. David Benavidez could be looking to get to number 1 pound for pound if Turki Al-Sheikh wouldn't stand in the way of him fighting Dimitri Bivol. If Turki Al-Sheikh wouldn't stand in the way of him fighting Terrence Crawford, then hey, man, you never know. David Benavidez may be number 1 or number 2 if you give him the shots, right? But no, you guys support the fact that Turki Al-Sheikh says he doesn't want Bivol, but he doesn't want Bivol Benavidez. That's not a good fight. Why? Because Turki says so. That clown. Anyway, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Thank you for giving that list a thumbs down and acknowledging that Gervonta Davis is really like that. To Shakur Stevenson, to further support what Shakur Stevenson said, Shakur said that he thought the fight with Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis was 50-50 fight because Lamont Roach is that good a fighter. Same thing Keyshawn Davis is saying. He's like, Lamont Roach proved it. Lamont Roach is like that. He's really that type of fighter. So now Keyshawn wants to fight him. This is not a case of Gervonta Davis not being as good as you thought he was. This is a case of Lamont Roach being better than they ever claimed he was because they acted like the fight should have never been made. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.